little bit behind, but
Yeah,
you got to press the button on the back. There you go.
Oh, technology.
Press it again.
Or hold it down.
No, check it. There you go. All right.
Testing,
So,
testing.
yeah, can you guys hear us? Okay. Please let us know in the comments if we're coming through clearly. That's important. Obviously, we don't want another repeat of last week where everything just kind of fell apart because of technological issues.
That's 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago. That's right, because we were in Germany, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. But we're at Andrea's tonight, and for whatever reason, she seems to have a stronger internet signal. I have optic internet. Sometimes it works really well, and then every once in a while, I have a day where it's just not working well. So I don't know. I pay for the cheapest package. That might be part of it.
It is kind of odd though, because you have fiber
optic,
I don't.
Yeah.
But it does seem to work better. But I am also in the city, so maybe that's one of the benefits of being in the city versus the village.
Yeah.
But
I pay like 75 cents a year for my internet. It's therefore, like I have like the lowest grade you can possibly have.
And I do have the best because of my work, so I made sure to get the best.
So can you guys hear us, all 8 of you?
I'm worried that my microphone is rubbing on my shirt, so hopefully, let me know if my microphone sounds
should be okay.
Crappy. We have fiber dial-up. It's good to see you, Dan, Michelle, Jack. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate
Valentino is here. Valentino says woof.
Oh, yes.
Miss you, Valentino.
Yes,
love some snuggles.
She would love to be hanging out with Valentina right now. Okay, we sound good. That's
okay,
important.
Good.
We really appreciate it.
If you start hearing like a rubbing noise, let me know, because I'm worried about my microphone like rubbing on my shirt. But if we're good, then we'll just let it ride.
I think we're okay. So we're as you all know, or I assume we only have 8 people watching, and we know all of you people pretty well. So you all know that we were recently in Germany. We spent last week there for me to have my little surgery. And other than that, we had a really great time. So we're going to talk about, we were in Berlin, by the way. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we really liked about Germany, a couple of the things we didn't like. And then as requested by one of you, we're going to go into a little bit about our lives here, the differences between being in Andrea's place here
in the big city,
in metropolitan Pogradec, and me out in the provinces of the villages. And so yeah, that's what tonight's going to be about. Hello, Free Radical. That's all you said good morning there. Glad you joined us. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for being here. And I see your message, Dan. Yes, I'll stop messing with it. Thank you. Alessi, Scrabble Buddy, good to see you.
Hello, everyone. So Germany. This was my first time in Germany, barring like some layovers and things like that. My first time really outside the airport in Germany. So that was extremely exciting for me. I love to travel. Travel is like it's one of the most important things in the world to me, and being able to check off a box for a country is great. Berlin is probably not very indicative of Germany. We'll get into that a little bit, but it's still an amazing city, and I can say both you and I traveling together was fantastic. We had a great time.
Yeah.
And
that was our first time like really traveling together, like getting on a plane and logistics and all that.
It was a big test to make sure that like, in reality, we don't actually hate each other. So it went really well.
Everything went well. I mean, like you said, we only had the one day that wasn't great, but that had nothing to do with our relationship.
Yeah. I mean, that one day was fine for you. It was less great for me. But, yeah, so we had a really good time. We enjoyed being with each other, and we traveled well together. And,
I think so, yeah.
We made the best of every situation, whether it was good or bad.
Oh, sure, yeah. There were some hiccups along the way, getting on the train and going the wrong way and things like that.
There's always going to be something, right?
Yeah.
But we did really well together. We had a kind of like memories made, right?
Yeah,
it was one of those kind of weeks. We really enjoyed Berlin. Despite some of the little things we didn't like, it was, I would say 90+% positive.
Oh, yeah.
We really just had a great time there, and really appreciate it. surprisingly, the German hospitality, which Germany has a reputation, kind of like New Yorkers, for being cold. But I lived in New York for a while, and I found it to be like Germany, whereas people say that, but that's never been my experience. I love New Yorkers, and they've always been really good to me. And the Germans were fantastic. It was really, really a pleasant time. So
we found that everywhere we went, not just restaurants, but even like at some point we had to go to the pharmacy actually a couple of times, and everyone was just so friendly.
it was really
Really
great. We
friendly.
just, you know,
Everywhere we went.
I don't understand where these reputations come from.
I don't either.
Like everybody was great. Hospitality. We had at one point we had a Palestinian cab driver, and he was amazing. He was a really nice guy. Everybody in restaurants was nice. Everybody in
The pharmacists were so helpful and just really took the time to give me to answer my questions, but also give me extra information that I didn't ask for, and were just super friendly.
People at museums were nice.
Yeah.
Even the people that were trying, so they were shooting a movie while we were there, and some areas were restricted.
On Museum Island.
On Museum Island, and even the people that were doing that work were very, very friendly. Of course, you know, they're turning people away all day, and it must be like really frustrating. But everybody was super nice.
Yeah.
Like I was ready for it to be everyone to be kind of indifferent, and that's fine, you know. But everyone was great. We had a great time.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start with the museums.
Sure. Yeah.
That was one of the great positives. There's an island in Berlin, and it's called Museum Island. And his gato is trying to get to my nectar here.
My cat was trying to get into the wine.
So there's an island in the center of Berlin called Museum Island, and it has it's at least 5 or 6 world-class museums. Just amazing stuff. One of them, the one that I wanted to visit the most, which is the Pergamon Museum, unfortunately was closed, and we found that they started closing it in 2000, either 2014 or 2000, maybe 2020. I think it was 2016.
It's been closed for a couple of years.
So they've closed bits and pieces of it and then opened bits and pieces of it, but I think it started in 2016 where they started closing it, and it's not scheduled to be fully reopened again until like 2036 or something.
Yeah.
It's like what are you could build an entire new museum. We can't imagine what they're doing. But unfortunately, there's some really amazing things in that museum that we weren't able to see. But that's just that gives us a reason to go back to Germany.
Yeah, absolutely. And the museums we did go to were just incredible.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed them, and I'm glad we didn't try to go to too many because there's so many there. You could really stress yourself out trying to do too many things. But we just narrowed it down to there was one that I really wanted to see and one you really wanted to see, and we made those the priority. Yeah. And it was a really good time. We spent a lot of time in those.
And the Berlin Cathedral, which is also on Museum Island. You know, if you watch my channel, you see I do there's a lot of, I'm into history, so there's lots of churches and stuff like that. I'm not religious at all, but I love churches because they're one of the few institutions that still make great architecture. So we got to go into the Berlin Cathedral, which was really amazing, and we went up to the top of the dome, which was the exterior of the dome, and just beautiful panoramic views of Berlin, and that was really exquisite.
That was worth all those stairs.
It was like almost 300 stairs.
We're like going and going. Every time you come around the corner, like, this must be it. And then
only
there's another flight of stairs.
They'd even have signs that were like, even 220 more stairs to go. And it's like, oh my God, we've only done 70-some stairs.
You made it.
So it was really cool. That was amazing. Hello, Tona.
Here. Hi, Mary. Good to see you.
That was a really cool experience. And but the first museum we went to, which was the Neues Museum, they kind of specialize in ancient Egyptian artifacts. And I didn't know this at the time, but this was the first time Andrea had actually ever gotten to see that kind of stuff in person, which made it really special.
Yeah, so ancient Egypt is probably in history the most interesting to me, and I've never gotten to see real ancient Egyptian artifacts before in like real life. So this was really exciting for me. And they had the bust of Queen Nefertiti.
They had
that was
the
the
bust
highlight.
of Queen Nefertiti and like, you know, tons and tons of artifacts and some really beautiful artwork. Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was really special for you. And I was very excited to share that with Andrea.
Yeah.
Like for that to be the first time that she'd ever really gotten to see any of that kind of stuff in person. And for any of you who have ever experienced that, you know that like when you actually see these sorts of things, it's so much more special than seeing it on TV or a documentary or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more you want to say about it?
No, I just really enjoyed that. And we made some great memories, and we have a lot. We'll post a video about the whole experience, so you'll get to see some of the things. But again, it's like, unless you were there, it was just, you don't really get the full effect of experiencing that.
Yeah, if you like sarcophagi and statues of cats and stuff like that.
Statues of cats and sarcophagi everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you can't
my kind of place.
Papyrus.
Lots of papyrus.
Lots of relief sculpture, hieroglyphics, and then like just really, really, really cool. Including they had also some preserved flora and herbal things that were buried with them that somehow have survived.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of neat to kind of see what people were buried with. And it was just, really a well-rounded museum. Again, it was the Nuez Museum, and they kind of specialize in ancient Egyptian stuff. They had some Babylonian things and a few other, and stuff from the Greco-Roman era as well. Obviously, the Greeks under Alexander controlled Egypt for quite a while, and then it was under the Roman and Byzantine Empire for centuries. So lots of neat stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the interim, like I said, they were shooting a movie.
Yes. Or a TV show?
Yeah, it's a TV show. I think it's either Babylon, Berlin, or Berlin, Babylon.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which. But Andrea didn't want to join me, but I endeavored to sneak onto the set so that I could take pictures.
You tried really hard to talk me into breaking into the movie set with you.
Yeah, I did, and she was.
I went to the coffee shop and I was like, "You go ahead, you have your fun."
So I got my camera equipment and just made it look like I was like one of the photographers for the show, like, you know, documenting the filming.
And that got you pretty far, didn't it?
It got me really, really far until one of like the higher ups was like, "Who are you?"
And even then, they didn't kick you out. They were just like, "No pictures."
No more pictures. Yeah, which is at that point was too late. I got lots of good pictures. So if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I'll be posting some of those. I got some. The show takes place, I believe, in like 1920s or 1930s Germany. So lots of period like cars and costumes, and so I got a couple of really, really good pictures of the actors and stuff looking natural in on Museum Island. And those of you who follow my photography, a lot of those in black and white, so it looks pretty authentic. So I'm pretty excited. I'll get to those at some point, and I'll be posting them. And it was pretty cool. But
the fog machines all over Museum Island for this set made the pictures really cool.
Right. Yeah, they
I have some great pictures because of the fog machines.
Anytime that like you see a historical movie, there's got to be fog, because I guess in olden times it was fog.
It was always
all
foggy.
the time. There's always some kind of smoke in the air, which is just part of it.
Yeah.
But that was fun. Yeah. So I snuck into the movie set and walked around, and some of the guards and stuff were like opening things for me because I had my camera gear with me. They just assumed I was with the set, and I had a great time doing that. It's always fun getting away with a little bit of like naughtiness like that. You know what I mean? That's one of the spices of life. And,
I'm glad you got in. You had fun.
Yeah.
I wasn't up for it, and I was at the coffee shop.
Yeah, and I understand. You know, nobody wants to get in trouble. And I was like, yeah, well, the worst thing they're going to do is like make you leave. Like, I was like, and they didn't even make me leave. Eventually, like I said, the one woman was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, photos for that." And she's like, "No."
She wasn't falling for it.
No more photos. And I was like, okay. Which at that point was fine. And I'd gotten most of what I wanted. And she didn't kick me out or anything. Just told me not to take any more pictures. So that was cool and lots of fun. And so then we went on to we waited till the next day. so that we could get access to the other museum, which was the Altez Museum, and their specialty is Greco-Roman art.
Didn't we do that
and artifacts. Actually, yeah, you're right. We did. We had to. The day we went into the movie set, or I went into the movie set, everything was closed. And then the next day, we did. That's right. We did the Egyptian Museum, and then we did the Greco-Roman Museum. Unfortunately, I mean, we didn't have as much time there as we would like to have had, and I think we would have really enjoyed seeing like some more modern artwork, paintings, and things like that. But we only had so much time, and those were like the two, other than the Pergamon Museum, which is apparently like closed for half a millennia.
Decades.
Those were the two that were like must sees for us.
Yeah.
So we went to the Altez Museum, and if you go on my YouTube channel and you look at my shorts, I have a couple of quick excerpts from that museum with some of the statuary and things. It was really cool. With lots of neat stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Greek, Roman, and Etruscan art, and lots and lots of famous statues. Obviously that's part of my background. And it was neat to be there in person and see. I've been to lots of museums showcasing this type of art. But when you watch a historical documentary about these ancient cultures, there's certain pieces of art that you see that I had never seen in person. And we were going through that museum, and I'm like, oh, I recognize this one, and I recognize that one. And I was like, oh, this is so cool that I actually get to see these in person.
Yeah.
That was really amazing.
That happened a couple of times to me in the Egyptian Museum. Obviously, Queen Nefertiti, but then there was another statue that I remember from textbook in like high school or something, but I just remembered it, and it was really cool to see it in person. Yeah,
so we had a really good time there. Again, if you look at my shorts, you can see some of the stuff that was exhibited there, which is clearly only a fraction of what we got to see, including a statue of a dog, which it was like scratching itself. And that was just like somebody decided that was important enough to sculpt, and that was really cool. And I think we had a fabulous time. I had a really great time doing that with you, and just amazing. If you're in Berlin, Museum Island is a must-see. And next time we go, we're going to look at some of the more modern art, including the paintings and so forth. Just incredible stuff. So I feel like I've been talking a lot. We're going to transition onto one of our other favorite things about our trip to Berlin, and that is food. So I'll let you talk about the food a little bit.
Oh God, it was good. We found at first, we thought as we're walking the streets, we would find a lot of German food, and it actually wasn't as easy to find as we thought. I mean, it was around, but we had to Google it. There weren't as many German restaurants as we thought there would be, or maybe street vendors or whatever. Yeah. Again, they're there. It's not like they're non-existent, but
Berlin's a very modern city.
Yeah.
So like it was actually easier to find sushi than it was to find German food.
There was a couple blocks where it was just sushi, and it was fantastic sushi. And there were a lot of Vietnamese places, Thai places,
Turkish places.
Yeah. I mean, just so much American places. There were several like
American, Syrian. We found like 20 different types of Korean.
Yeah.
Before we actually found a German restaurant.
Yeah. And it was everywhere we ate was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I would say most of the time we were eating at like mid-grade restaurants, not the super fancy, but we didn't do a lot of like street food or anything. We did a little bit of that, I think.
Yeah. One of the big things in Germany, which is kind of odd, is currywurst, where they take a bratwurst and they put like curry on it.
With ketchup. They put the curry in the ketchup, right?
Yeah. And it was okay.
It was fine. We tried it. I mean, the brat was good, but the curry ketchup thing was, you got to try it when you're in Berlin, I guess.
Yeah. It's a Berlin thing, and it was good, but it was like I would have rather had something else, just because all the other food was so good.
Yeah. We had so many good meals here, and then the places we did finally find that were specializing in German food were just to die for.
Yeah, I ate a ton of schnitzel. I'm addicted to schnitzel now. It's just so good.
Yeah.
I could eat schnitzel at least once a week. Really.
And you were disappointed. We tried to find you one more on our way out of town to go to the airport, and we didn't get it.
Well, no, we did. The very last day we did. Remember, we went to that place, and the menu said it was only breakfast. And I was like,
that's right.
And I was like, can I get schnitzel?
And they're like,
He's like, okay, we'll make you a schnitzel.
Yeah, I was watching him talk to everyone in the kitchen. He talked to like 4 different people, and finally they decided they'll just open the schnitzel early, I guess. And
Yeah, so
make
I
it
got
work.
one more Wiener Schnitzel, and it's just delicious. I love Wiener Schnitzel. Very good stuff.
We had some really good meat there. Like the burgers are fantastic. I had a pork knuckle, which is just a big old piece of meat with a bone in it, and it was just fantastic. I normally don't eat this much meat. There's a lot of meat for me, but everything was just so good.
Yeah. And then you want like the supermarket prices were, I think, meals out, and we almost always had alcohol. I would say it was between 60 to 110 euros
per meal. Yeah, so it's pricey.
A little pricey, yeah.
But we're in the city center. We were staying in a nice area, so it wasn't particularly cheap. But like you said, we did go into a couple of grocery stores and just kind of look around, and they had excellent selections. Like I would say they were very similar to like a Whole Foods, but with like all these prices. Like the prices were fantastic in the supermarket.
Prices.
Like better than some of the prices we find around here.
Considerably cheaper than Albania, actually.
And with an unbelievably bigger select. It was I really enjoyed the supermarkets there, but we didn't do too much shopping there because we wanted to eat out.
Yeah, and there was Aldi's as well, obviously.
Yeah.
But the supermarket, like Andrea at one point, she said she was going to cry, and I thought she was joking. And it turns out she was serious. She was like really on the verge of tears because like you
didn't have to tell people that.
There's so much good food.
We walked into this huge supermarket with all this like, again, it was like a Whole Foods, like really organic and healthy foods, but it was huge. And I haven't seen that kind of a selection in a long time. I got a little emotional about it.
And the prices were just
fantastic. The prices were so good.
I would say, like, of the things that were comparable that they have here and there, like, it was a solid 30 to 35% cheaper than Albania, which is surprising.
Yeah. But again, eating out was considerably more expensive. Yeah. Even places like coffee shops, getting croissants and things like that was a lot more expensive.
Yeah. So breakfast was usually like 9 to 11 euros, which and by breakfast we mean like cappuccino and a croissant.
And a croissant, yeah.
So that was kind of expensive.
When we had that full breakfast where you had the schnitzel, how much did we pay for that?
Did you have breakfast or did you have?
I had a regular breakfast.
Yeah, I think that was probably in the 60 to 70 euro range.
And that was basically for breakfast.
Yeah,
so
but I got a
schnitzel,
which was was an enormous amount of food.
Yeah.
God, I love schnitzel. So good. Next thing on our list was like we already kind of spoke about this. The people were amazing. We really everybody was super cool.
Yeah, and everyone speaks English. Whenever you're out in public and you're hearing conversations around you, there's about a 50% chance that you're hearing it in English. Like English is very widely spoken, even more so than in Albania. So it made it really easy for English speakers.
Yeah, and like people are like with German accents speaking English, which sometimes was kind of strange,
fluently,
right? Yeah, fluently, and it's like, oh, like we're here with a couple of people that are not Americans or not British, and they're speaking English. It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
So the next thing on our list was transportation.
Oh, the public transportation.
The public transportation was
awesome.
Insanely good.
Ooh, Tona says Bimbli has schnitzel.
Really?
We will be there tomorrow, Tona.
We know that
maybe tonight.
Maybe tonight. Cabos has Wiener Schnitzel, and I've gotten it there before, and it's good. But it's like it's going to be hard to live up to Germany, man. That schnitzel looks good.
We might as well try it.
We will try it for sure.
And that's exactly where we're going to be after this live stream.
Yes.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, thanks, Tona. Transportation.
Public transportation there is phenomenal. And, I love Albania, but one of the things that is, it's not a secret that is lacking here is a good public transportation system. They do have buses from city to city. No subways.
Still
it's developing.
Lead like miles ahead of the U.S. when it comes to public transportation.
Sure, yeah.
But on a European scale, it's a little difficult here. Whereas in Germany, it was like there was no reason to own a car there. At
No.
least not in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so from the airport, we took the subway
Yeah.
into town and then hopped the bus. And navigating all that was super easy. So I did some research and watched some YouTube videos before we went to kind of learn about it. But Google Maps, you just put your location where you are and where you want to go. And there's an option to select public transportation. It'll tell you to get on this bus, like the exact bus, not just any bus. It'll tell you the exact line in real time. So if you miss that bus, it'll tell you the next one that's coming, or tram, or it'll tell you where to get off, where to get on. It'll map out your whole path for you via public transportation. And it's really efficient.
It's incredibly integrated. So
and
there's
it's cheap.
It's extremely cheap. I think it was like $50 some a piece for our entire
for a week
pass,
and that
everything.
covered all the transportation in the 3 zones. So that was the best, most comprehensive pass you could get for Berlin. Was 56 euros.
Yeah, something like that. And
that covered.
So it's the S-Bahn,
tram,
which is like kind of above ground subway. Then it was the actual subway. Then it was the buses. And then it was the trams, which are like the street cars, and you
can just hop on and off things
whatever
and
you
just
want.
make your way around the city so efficiently. It was fantastic.
And even like we never waited more than 10 minutes for
and I think
anything.
That was the longest we waited. Was once about 9 or 10 minutes.
Most of the time we'd be coming down the steps
and
into
it's
the platform,
showing up and,
and it's pulling up and you get it. And it was just great, really fantastic.
Yeah. Mary says Germany sounds like a must-visit country. I agree.
Yeah,
we want to go back.
Yeah, I would love to visit Germany again.
Yeah.
It was very cool. And I'll kind of transition into that. Like, so the vibe was just great. This kind of goes along with everything else we've done, like food, people, transportation. And it's a very, Berlin specifically, because that's where we were, very artsy. And lots of public art and really cool things like that.
Like boutique studios and art galleries. And just as we're walking the streets, we found some really cool things, like the one lady that sold just the rock lights that they made in-house.
Lots
things like that.
Lots of neat, like handmade, like special things.
Yeah, specialty items.
Of course, for me, I'm a photographer, and apparently because it's an artsy city, analog photography, which is I love, film photography, is huge there. And we visited several analog camera shops.
One that was a kid in a candy shop.
It was just great. I had so much fun. It makes me want to shoot.
Picking through buckets of like lenses and things.
Oh yeah, like bargain bins full of lenses and stuff like that, and film cameras, and some of them were quite pricey, but a lot of it was very reasonable. I got this amazing old Russian lens. It's a Jupiter 135 millimeter. Got it for like $65, I think. Maybe it was $45. It was for 45 euros. So
and that's a good deal.
It's a fantastic, like a modern camera lens is, hundreds to thousands of dollars.
Oh wow!
And it's just a fantastic lens. These old lenses, impart a special feel. If you follow me on Facebook, like you'll see some of my most recent photographs were taken with this old Russian lens. And it's just there's a special quality that you don't get with modern lenses. People will call it a filmic quality because it looks kind of more like film than it does. It's not as surgical as a new digital lens. So it adds a little bit of warmth,
some character,
exactly. And like the shops there were just full, like just cases and cases and cases of antique lenses, antique cameras. I love shooting film. I would still shoot film if it was, easy to get developed here. I shot a lot of film in Maine, but here in Albania, the only place you can really get film developed is in Tirana that I know of. So I do digital here, but I can put these old lenses on my digital camera, and it gives me an extra layer of analog glory. So I love that part about it. That was one of the really cool things about Berlin. My dad, I know he's watching this right now.
He would love it, I'm sure.
Well, he's very digital. He and I part ways when it comes to that. Dan says Russian lenses are like the vinyl records of lenses. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have a special quality to them, and it's not just Russian lenses. All like old Japanese lenses. old, yeah, it's mostly Japanese and Russian lenses, Minolta, Canon, and like some of the Russian ones. They just have a special quality to them.
Yeah.
It's kind of inexplicable, and they have different character. And so that's a 135 millimeter, and it takes fantastic pictures. I'm
Yeah, your
really
recent
happy
pictures
with it.
have been really amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
So I'm really excited about that, and I'm trying to bring my dad back from the dark side. I left some no film for me, he says. Well, you can see, like, some of my analog lenses are still in the U.S. and he has them, and I bought him an adapter so he could use them if he so chose. But that was a really cool thing about Berlin.
Yeah, it was nice to see you in your element too. You were really like a kid in the candy shop.
And there were so many shops specializing in that. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
My dad says he sold my old analog. No, you didn't. So that was cool. But yeah, the city, it's very artsy.
Yeah.
People it's a very progressive and art-based city.
Yeah, and this is kind of a pro and a con. That just the shopping there is better, certainly, than Albania, which was to be expected. So I had access to stores that I kind of missed, like TK Maxx.
TJ Maxx in Germany is called TK Maxx for some reason.
Same company, and it was nice to go in there and get some deals on some things that I had been looking for. And thank you for being patient with me while I was just rummaging around the jackets and everything.
Oh no, it was great. I picked up a couple. I picked up one of your Christmas gifts there, so it was perfect. Jordan Photo says the non-camera people here. This conversation is akin to talking about politics or religion. Well, we know you enjoyed it because your name is Jordan Photo, so I hope you appreciate it. And if you're into antique lenses, Berlin, antique anything, like they have lots of cameras too, all sorts of gear, and modern gear, like lots of digital gear too.
Yeah.
Great city for a photographer.
Or an artist.
Any kind of artist.
Or anyone that really appreciates history.
We saw several art supply stores. If you're into painting, if you're into anything creative like that, great city for that. Yeah. So that brings up, we'll talk about the bikes. That'll be the last thing on our positive list.
On our Berlin list. So we talked a lot about public transportation and how you don't need a car if you live there for the most part. And we found that a lot of people just rode their bikes everywhere. And I remember in Munich, it was like that too. There was such a huge bike culture. A good portion of the population takes their bikes everywhere they go grocery shopping. We saw a lot of bikes that had these huge built-in baskets on the front for people to go grocery shopping. It wasn't uncommon to see people biking around the city with their kids and little helmets and their pets and they're in these baskets, and or they looked like they were going to work. They had a lot of very safe, specialized bike lanes.
There were people, way more people on bicycles and cars. Like literally, you'd have to, like, when you went to cross the street, you'd have to look out for bikers. Like especially at night, you'd see a line of lights, and they were all bike lights. People with lights on their which was one of the other little things I'll say about the Germans that I really appreciated is, one of their stereotypes that is true is they are very organized. And everybody had a white light on the front of their bike and a red light on the back of their bike. Nobody would cross the street when it was a don't walk. Even if there were no cars coming, they would wait for the green symbol to cross the street. It was very, very organized and structured, and that was very cool. But the bikes, just bikes everywhere. More bikes than cars.
And the traffic in general was very tame. You didn't see any aggressive driving or loud driving. Like sometimes here you hear people just holding down the horn, and certainly in Ohio where I live, they did this as well. It was very relaxed to just walk around in the city center because the traffic was pretty chill. A lot of people were on bikes. There was no aggressive driving. We didn't see any major traffic. I think there was one time we did get stuck in traffic once.
Yeah, once.
And, yeah.
I mean, it's got traffic, but like, it was probably mostly because there were too many bikes on the road. And then literally, like, honest to God, more bikes than cars. And that was really cool. Really, really cool. So that brings us to the things we didn't like about Berlin.
Michelle, I'm happy to listen to people share their passions. Thank you, Michelle. We're so glad you're here. And thanks for supporting us. And Dan, you too. And he says, I can visit an organized place, but I prefer the chaos of Albania. And it's so funny you say that.
The dichotomy is nice. Like,
it is.
We like, like that's part of life. That's part of the fun. There are things sometimes you love the chaos in Albania. Sometimes it makes you want to tear your hair out.
When we first arrived in Germany, I was like, oh, it's so organized. I was just like really enjoying just having some of the comforts back of that type of lifestyle. But after a week, it's like, you do kind of miss the pieces of Albania that are a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, like grit is one of the great things in life. Which is what we'll kind of like. We'll get to the gritty part of Berlin that we didn't like.
Sure.
And there were certain things. By and large, like I said, 90+%. We just thought it was great. We had a great time.
We had such a good time.
However, in some places there was, and a lot of places actually, there was a lot of graffiti. Lots of graffiti, not like nice graffiti, just like the really like where people just tag things with spray paint.
Walk around with a spray paint, just write something random on the wall.
Yeah, including like some buildings that had some nice architecture, which Berlin doesn't have much of, which we'll get to that too. But so that was a little bit of a downer to see. Like some places look like, kids with spray paint cans have kind of like taken over. And I know Germany's going through some economic hardships right now. They've been in recession, I think, for about 2 years. And I'm sure there's a lot of angry young people, and sometimes they take that out in public spaces. For the most part, we found it to be clean and nice, but
for the most part.
But like even in the places where things were like this, I mean, we didn't ever feel unsafe or like never felt uncomfortable.
Very rarely did we ever see police or see a need for police. Now, we were in kind of a bubble. We just stayed in that downtown area most of the time. But it was always relaxed and pretty chill. I remember one time we saw someone getting a ticket, and I don't know, we never really saw any riffraff of any kind.
No, well, we did. Actually, we did. We saw a little bit of riffraff, yeah. We'll bring that to the next point. So, like when we first got there, actually, and got onto the subway, there was a guy passed out with a beer bottle in one of the seats.
Yeah.
And we saw that a couple of times. Now, like not any more than you would see anywhere else in the West. Like I would say about the same as New York, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely that element there, along with a fair amount of homelessness. Again, about on par with what I've seen when I lived in New York.
And certainly less than what I've seen in parts of Cincinnati and Dayton.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it depends on where you're at. It wasn't anything that was like, oh my God, look at all these homeless. It wasn't like Portland, Oregon, or any of these places where you see these massive, or like, Skid Row in LA. You see these massive communities of homeless people. But there was definitely like a little bit of, we saw some homeless people. We saw some people drunk and passed out. So a little bit of riffraff, never anything threatening, never anything that made us like uncomfortable other than to be like, kind of like, oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I certainly don't know what the crime rate is like there. Like I was on guard. I had my purse with me all the time because I didn't know what pickpocketing was like there. I'd seen some things in some videos, but we never felt unsafe. I never felt like anyone was trying to pickpocket us. We never, I don't know, it just felt.
Yeah, we were comfortable. Safe. I mean, and like, again, like in New York, I felt comfortable too. I'm very lucky where I've never really been anywhere that I really felt uncomfortable, like unsafe. So one time I took a wrong turn in Philadelphia, and I was in a bad spot. And we're from my family's from the Philadelphia area, and this is going back years. So I called my dad and I was like, "Hey, Dad, I'm on the corner of so and so and so and so. How do I get back to 95?" He says, "It doesn't matter how you get back to 95. Just floor it and get out of there." So I'll never forget that. But outside of that, I've always been comfortable, and Berlin was extremely comfortable. Yeah, never felt worried. I was on guard at first. I know my parents, when they went to Paris, they had some issues with pickpockets and so forth. So I kept my wallet in my front pocket and everything. But I felt pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I did too. Did we cover all of our Oh no.
Yeah, I did a couple other things. And
Yeah.
mostly, and these are things that we knew going in. So obviously, World War II was pretty rough on Berlin, and it was pretty much carpet bombed and destroyed. So most of the city, Museum Island had amazing architecture, and there were some neighborhoods that had some pretty beautiful architecture. But most of the city is very modern. It can be a little bit plain.
Yeah.
And I think I even said to you once, like, if you were, like, we're in a couple of places where it's like, if you were to blindfold me and just drop me off here, I might feel like I'm in downtown Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah,
like, I wouldn't know that I was in a foreign country. It felt very American, actually, in some places.
Yes, I agree. And there were certain areas that reminded me of Mason, Ohio, and other places that I had been. Like, nice, it was nice, but it didn't feel very European.
Did not feel yeah. Like, some places did, but a lot of places felt American. I was like, oh my god, I could be in somewhere in New York right now.
And there were some neighborhoods that were just kind of plain because of that. Yeah. I feel,
including some communist era like commie blocks where they had repainted and they were nice, but they were just very, like, architecturally speaking, they were very boring.
Yeah,
like just like apartment blocks.
Yeah,
what they
but
were.
Then we saw some that were pretty nice, but that was in, I think, like a very expensive neighborhood.
Yeah, so it depended on where you were in the city. Obviously, parts of the city were spared, like like the intensity of the bombing. So there was some architectural gems there, but don't ever go to Berlin and be like, oh, expect Paris, because it's not going to be like that. It's going to be very modern. There's lots of modern, like, skyscraper type buildings and things like that. So
yeah,
lots of smoked glass in some places. But that's we knew that going in. We knew Berlin was that kind of city. It's very multicultural. If you joined us recently and missed the beginning of our live stream, one of the things that we noted was, like, we had a little bit of a hard time finding German food at first. It took a bit. Once we started looking for, we ended up finding it quite commonly. But it's very multicultural. Like, it had great sushi there.
Fantastic sushi.
They have Turkish food is like one of their specialties, because a lot of Turkish immigrants moved to Berlin at one point. So
a lot of burger places.
Lots of like, we had really good
burger places. Good burgers, yeah.
And then the other negative, which is, like, they can't help this, is it's flat. There's no real topography there.
So for people like us that like a lot of mountains and beautiful scenery, I mean, it's a beautiful city, but, when we were up at the top of the cathedral and you could look out, we saw one hill.
One little hill. We're like, look way out there, there's a hill.
We took pictures of it.
I mean, it could be like
for miles and miles, just super flat.
Like flat, like Florida, like really flat.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, like, that's just they can't help.
Flat works for me, says Jack.
Yeah, but Dad doesn't like walking up hills, so.
And it's true. Walking around the city was pretty chill for that reason too. You didn't get burned out walking up and down hills like we do sometimes around here, or at least I do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much it. Again, I think we had a fantastic time. Good time. The operation went, for the most part, well. Some of it wasn't great, but whatever. And outside of that,
don't walk 10 miles 2 days after a vasectomy. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah. So, like, how often are you in Berlin? And, like, after a couple of days, felt pretty good. It's like, all right, let's go out and do some stuff. And then we made a couple wrong turns. The next thing you know, we were really far away from where we lived. And then we were looking for food, and it was fun.
Walked a little too much.
I walked a little too much. The next day I was pretty sore.
The next week you were pretty sore.
Yeah. But outside of that, it was great. Again, 9 out of 10 trip for sure. Like, fantastic. Had the one really bad day where I had the operation. Outside of that, good stuff. Really loved it.
Yeah, it was great. One time, it was towards the end, I think it was maybe the last day there, we just decided to be adventurous. You wanted to go on a tram because we hadn't been on the trams yet. So Craig's like, let's just get on a tram and go and see where it goes. I'm like, okay. So we got on the tram and at night and just started riding this thing. We get off and we ended up in some business district that didn't really have much food and didn't have a lot of options. We're like, let's get back on it. And we rode it out of town. we ended up in maybe a sketchier area. There certainly weren't a lot of people around.
It was a suburb area, and they had
a little more graffiti, a little,
yeah, and there was a restaurant that like had everything. It was like pizza, pasta, burger,
and it was supposed to be like from around the world. So there's an Australian section, there's a U.S. section. The U.S. section was funny. It was just like chicken fingers.
Right.
And then the Australian section,
they had kangaroo on the menu as well.
They had kangaroo on the menu.
Yeah, so that was...
So you took me to the kangaroo neighborhood.
Yeah, we did not have the kangaroo.
We did not.
But it was intriguing.
It was an option.
It was an option. Yeah, so that was fun. So yeah, and that was our trip to Germany, and I would do it again. Yeah. Well, except for the one part. I would do it again tomorrow, and it was really great. We really just loved it. If you ever get the chance to go to Berlin, and you have an interest in art, great place to be. If you have an interest in anything creative,
history, art.
Yeah. We visited the wall.
We visited the wall.
And all the murals that people have painted on what's left of the Berlin Wall.
The East Side murals, is that what it's called?
East Side mural, yeah. East Side Gallery.
East Side Gallery.
Yeah.
And we saw Brandenburg Gate as well.
And we saw the Brandenburg. Everybody's. You have to. That's it. Right.
And then on our way out, we passed another section of the wall. Unfortunately, that one was covered in gum.
Yeah, yeah. So, great trip.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We really enjoyed it. And we'll have some. I think we're doing a combined video for this one.
I didn't really take much video. You took a lot of video.
We're gonna make some kind of a video.
Look for it on Andrea's channel, New Life Albania. I don't think
either that, or we'll put it on our combined channel.
That's a good idea. We haven't used that in a long time.
So we'll post a video. We'll make sure you all know how to get to it, just so we can share some of the experience with you. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a great time. So moving on to another place we love, which is here in Albania. Pogradec. We promised one of you that we would talk a little bit about, Andrea lives here in town in an apartment. She has a beautiful view, and I have a house out in one of the villages. So I'll talk a little bit about the difference between living in super busy downtown metropolitan Pogradec, which I'm kidding. I think the core area has 20,000 people, and then the entire area, including my village, is about 40-some thousand.
Oh wow!
So it's quite a provincial town, but we're on Lake Ohrid, which is Europe's oldest lake, and we really love it here. Not as organized as Germany, but sometimes that's fun too. Also really good food here. Gives it
character.
It gives that a lot of character. So, talk a little bit about, living in an apartment here, pros and cons?
Yeah, so I love my place, especially because I'm on the top floor and I have a great view of the lake and the mountains. And the view here, I would live in a cardboard box for this view. The downside is it can get a little noisy sometimes, but my location in particular can get extra noisy because we're near a few different sports stadiums and
the waterfront.
And the waterfront. And so if there's games or practices, there can be a lot of noise, and the sound seems to carry up the buildings, and it'll sound like people are right outside my window, and they're not. They're 10 floors down. And I'm 2 blocks away from the water, maybe.
Yeah, and in the summer sometimes there'll be concerts and stuff, so it can be a little loud.
The nice thing is they tend to always wrap up relatively early compared to the United States, maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, so it's not like they're blasting music all night long, and it certainly isn't every night. Not even every weekend.
Yeah, just once in a while, it'll be oh my God, there's a lot of music going on, and it can be a little loud up here.
Yeah. Traffic sometimes gets noisy, but not super often, but it happens.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, there'll be, I think it's weddings and special occasions like maybe proms. People will drive around in some kind of a procession and just lay on their horns, and that'll go on for maybe 10 or 20 minutes where it gets noisy. So if I'm working, I just have to stop taking phone calls for maybe 20 minutes or so until everyone passes through.
Yeah, it can be, It can be a little bit like, oh my God, just please stop. Please stop laying on the horn.
That's not super common.
Very
In Tirana, I would wake up to it at 5 a.m. People just holding down the horn.
Yeah.
And Tirana got noisy early, and it stayed noisy all day.
Yeah.
So this is much quieter, but it's still a little noisy because I'm downtown Pogradec essentially.
Downtown.
Yeah.
Yes. And I live out in the village, and the village is it's very quaint. It's very agricultural.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that's really nice about it is it's very quiet. So we can sit on my porch and especially
so
like
peaceful.
have a glass of wine at night or have coffee in the morning, and it'll just be very, very relaxed and enjoy. We got the cat coming behind the curtain here.
Hey buddy, you want to join us? He doesn't want to be seen, I guess.
Doesn't want to be on camera.
Hey buddy.
Hey bud.
This is Gato. We saved him. We got him as a kitten in Toronto. He's hiding. He doesn't.
Camera shot.
He's being camera shot. Sorry, he does not want to be on the camera. But yeah, that's our Toronto kitty.
Now he lives out here in Pogradec in the penthouse.
Yes.
Yeah, living it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, the village is really nice. It's very
so
quiet.
peaceful.
It's very serene. I have an orchard behind my house.
And you have a great view too. It's not as close, but it's still a good view. The mountains and the lake off in the distance.
Yeah, anybody who follows my pictures and follows our YouTube will see this massive mountain that we have on the lake, and you can see it from anywhere, pretty much around here. And it's just, I love waking up and looking out my window and seeing that beautiful mountain and seeing the sunrises and sunsets on it or behind it. And it's really gorgeous. Downside, like sometimes because it's so there's Godfrey's making his appearance. Sometimes you'll get the agricultural smells, especially like in the spring when people are fertilizing their fields with like cow manure and stuff like that. I get massive processions of sheep in the field next to me and behind my house.
But that's what gives it character.
That's what gives it character.
That's how you know you're in a village.
And I
you open your window and there's a bunch of sheep walking by.
Yeah, and I absolutely I wouldn't trade that. Like it's great. It's one of my favorite things. If you look again, if you go on my YouTube channel, on the channel you're watching right now, and you look at some of my shorts, I do have one that just kind of shows the field that's outside my bedroom window and just completely packed full of well over 100 sheep. And maybe with some goats mixed in.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And
it's not unforeseeable to see someone like riding their donkey by.
Donkeys all the time. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Goats. Yeah, it feels like you're in the village, and it is. There is a lot to be said about that. It is just peaceful. It's slower, but in some of the best ways, really.
Yeah, and I have great neighbors. My neighbors have all helped me with a lot of things and looked out for me and done some really nice things.
No wine for you guys.
When I first moved here, like no one had taken care of the orchard in a couple of years, and there weren't really many apples. And I was telling one of my neighbors this, and I went back out later on that day, and there was a bag full of apples hanging on my gate. So like stuff like that was just really nice.
Those are the things about Albanians that I just love. They can be so sweet and hospitable.
So sweet.
And then they saw you chopping wood with a little hatchet or something.
No, I had an axe, but I ordered 2 meters of wood, which is a ton of firewood. And I have an axe, but it's not like a big, heavy axe. It's like a regular sized axe. And one of my neighbors saw me out there just chopping away, and he must have realized like he's going to be there for 2 days. And he came down with his big, like massive axe that has like a big sledgehammer head. So it's got a ton of weight at the head of it. And just spent 2 hours just chopping wood with me.
Aww.
And that's happened 2 years in a row with different neighbors.
Yeah. Aww.
So like stuff like that is just really nice. Great.
Yeah.
Downsides are, obviously you're not in town, so
it's a little bit of work to get back and forth.
It's a little bit of work to get back and forth, especially, now that we're together, like coming to stay here, and you got to pack everything up and get on a bus and come out.
And you're not just getting on a bus, you're walking 15 minutes to get to the bus station. And if it's raining or whatever, if it's raining, I'll probably just grab a cab. But to save a little bit of money to go back and forth, we try to take the bus.
And it's a
little bit more of a hassle.
Yeah, and they stop running between 4 and 5 o'clock. So
they are reliable, though. They run on the half hour like clockwork.
Yeah, very reliable. But they run on the half hour from the terminal here in Pogradec. So there can be some leeway between the time they get to my village. And there's been quite a few experiences where I've been like almost missed the bus.
Yeah.
Gato.
There he is. All right. You made your appearance.
And then like, you know, getting things. So like grocery shopping, having to like cart all your stuff in my backpack. Basically my backpack is my trunk.
Yes.
And so that means anytime I go shopping, I got to come in I bus into town with my backpack and a couple extra little bags, get everything that I can possibly get into my backpack, into the bags, and get back to the bus terminal, back on the bus, back to the village, then walk to my house. Having said that, we do have a small market in the village, and it's maybe the size of like what we in the U.S. would be like a 7-Eleven, kind of like a convenience store, maybe a little bit bigger. But given the availability of what we have in Albania, it is very well stocked. Like you could live off of that store. I mean, everything from eggs, pasta, sauces, different soaps, chicken,
sausages,
meats, frozen pizzas, sugar, salt, like everything you need more or less. And it's pretty surprising how versatile. Cheeses, milks, drinks, beer,
they even
wine.
have a little section of makeup, like nail polishes and
yeah, and it's a small place, but they pack a lot in there.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty great. So,
and they have produce outside too, seasonal produce.
And they have produce outside.
Not a huge limited selection, but it's
yeah, you can't go
you
down
really
there.
could just live on what you find in that market.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't go down there and be like, well, I'm getting oranges today. And you get there, they might not have oranges that day, but they'll probably have cucumbers and onions and tomatoes and I had kiwis the other day.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Like it's like that. So that's really cool. So that's like a little bit of a downside that you don't have getting certain things can be a little difficult, but you like that little store actually has most of what you need. And there's several convenience stores in town.
Yeah.
The other ones are all much smaller.
Small village, and it has
it's very small.
4 tiny little stores in it.
I think there's like 6 actually.
Really?
Yeah, like there's the one that I'm talking about.
That's the big one.
Most of everything you could possibly need, but then there's a bunch of other smaller ones that'll have a few things. Which can be kind of funny. We were looking for milk the other day. We didn't want to walk all the way to the bigger store.
Yeah.
And we had a hard time finding milk, and we finally found it in one place. And the lady had she said she didn't have any, and then she turned around and was like, oh, and she found like this one carton of milk, and it was literally at the expiration date. And like I shook it, and it was like
it felt solid.
It sounded more like cheese, and I was like, I think we'll just walk. We'll go to the bigger store and get our milk. So, but generally speaking, all that kind of stuff is mostly available, but not like it is at like the big grocery store in town where I can get really almost anything. And that's about it. It's I love living out in the villages. We also love spending time here in town.
Yeah,
town's much more convenient.
We really get the best of both worlds between both of our places, and I love that.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
We are lucky.
We have it's our little empire. We have our estate out in the province, and we've got our penthouse here in town. And it really is. We're very lucky that we get the both the best worlds. So
I agree.
So is there anything else? Do you guys have any questions, or is there anything else we want to talk about tonight? We're getting close to an hour here.
Yeah. Doesn't look like we have any questions. Spider Webster, glad you're here. It says depends where you are in Toronto, but it's true Pogradec is more quiet. Yeah, that's true. I spent most of my time. We lived like downtown and next to one of the main busy roads that ran through Toronto, and that gets noisy. But I'm sure there's other areas that are probably not quite as bad.
And I think Spider Webster is the one who actually asked about the comparison between the village and living in town. So, I mean, that's the most I can think of in terms of like differences.
Yeah, I would say we haven't quite ran into this yet. But if you were in the village and you needed to get to like the doctor or something and you don't have a car, that can be a little sketchy, especially at night when there's no buses running. You'd have to try to get a hold of one of your cab drivers who may or may not see the message. So there's some things to consider there. And we've been talking a lot about potentially getting a car.
Yeah. And we do have a regular cab driver that we use on our, and we have his number and everything. And he's very good about coming to pick us up, and he knows where to pick us up, to drop us off, and all that. So we do have a guy, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we have been talking about getting a car just for the convenience factor. And again,
convenience factor, emergency factor,
Yeah.
and maybe to save us some money, getting to like our trailheads and things like that.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, you know, basically when I need to go do real shopping, like all I can carry is what's in my backpack and what I can carry in a couple bags, and that's
Yeah.
very limiting.
And strenuous.
And
to do
strenuous. It's a
all the
lot of
time.
walking with a lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah, and in the
so-
summer when it's super hot or if it's raining, there's, you know, it can be unpleasant.
Yeah, plus it means if I'm in town, well, now I have you, so I can drop some stuff off
Yeah.
here. But before Andrea and I were together, it was really a problem because it's like, okay, well, I come into town, I need to do shopping. That means I got to carry all this stuff
Everything
all
with
day.
you.
If I want to go take pictures or do anything else,
You're
I'm carrying my
all-
backpack
yeah.
full of everything I bought that day. So, yes, we have been talking about getting a vehicle to make life a little bit more convenient. Plus, I have a great guy in town here, Lero. I rent cars from him. Fantastic. If you're ever in town and need to rent a car, contact me.
Guy.
I'll hook you up with him. He's very reasonable, very nice guy. But you know, we rent and we rent and we rent, and my parents come to visit, and I'll rent for a couple of weeks straight, and that can be hundreds of dollars. And it's like, at some point, it's like maybe we should just buy a car so we have that convenience.
As time goes on, more and more things are kind of adding up and pushing us in that direction. It would be really nice to have a car, and then we could do a road trip.
Road trip, yeah, we love road trips. We travel really well together. It's something we've learned, and we really.
Although we haven't road trip together.
We haven't road trip together. It would be great.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be an adventure.
Yeah. So Andrea and I, we both. I think we do really well with that sort of thing. We both love adventure, and we play off of each other. And if one of us gets stressed out, the other one calms the other down, and we keep an eye out for one another. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think it's it works really well. So yeah, Michelle and Dan come to Shenzhen. We would love to. At some point, we'll make our way out there.
Yeah.
Andrea still has not seen the Albanian coast.
I know. I'm embarrassed to actually say that.
You've seen the Mediterranean.
I've seen the Mediterranean.
Italy and Greece, but
I've been to, in Cyprus we went.
And Cyprus, yeah.
But I have not seen the Albanian coast, and I've been here coming up on a year and a half, and I am actually embarrassed to say that.
Yeah, and also Valentino is there.
Valentino is there. So
and Dan and Michelle, we'd love to see you guys too.
National Lampoon's Albania.
Yeah, maybe we'll video it. And like there are so Andrea and I talk about this sometimes. We love Albania, but there are some funny quirks that we could do a video that would just kind of like compile that into the video and make like a kind of a mock show about it. Like one of the funnier things, like lots of little things. Like we went out once and we ordered wine from the waiter, and then like a 10-year-old delivers us the wine, and the white wine was warm and the red wine was chilled. So like every once in a while, funny
little things like that. Yeah,
so,
it's just like
maybe we'll do a video like that, just kind of like
and you have
dramatize it and make some of it funny. Yeah. So it's part of what makes this country so much fun, and yeah, we love it. So
Michelle says we know the truth about who you want to see. I want to see all three of you.
We want to see all three of you. She has talked secretly about kidnapping Valentino. Just saying, dog napping. Yeah, we've talked about coming out to see you guys and the logistics and how we would make that happen. Actually, at some point, I think before spring. I think sometime this winter, because it'll be warmer at the coast, and we'll find a way to get out there and see you guys.
Yeah,
it'd be
we would love
fun.
to.
And obviously, you're always welcome to come out here to Pogradec, and we'll go out and entertain you, and we'll have a good time, and it would be fantastic.
Looks like we have a couple comments we kind of skipped over. Spider Webster says, Craig, what have you done so far, and what are your plans for the fruit orchard?
Honestly, I need like an agronomist to come out and help me with some. Growing apples in New England is very different from growing apples here in Albania, and I've experienced a lot of problems with fungus and a few other things. One issue I've noticed is I feel like the way the orchard was set up originally, they planted a lot of the trees very close together,
Way too close
which was
together.
fine when they were small, but now they're getting bigger and they're all growing into one another, which is causing some issues with parasitic issues and like the fungus issues where things are transferring it and they're all competing for the same water. So I've been kind of going through and cutting down a lot of apple trees in between, trying to space them out a little bit. My irrigation system needs to be completely rebuilt. I did a little bit of work on that this year. I got a new pump. I got one line running, but I really need to pull that line too and just do some new lines, especially since I have taken a lot of the trees out. So now there are sprinkler heads in areas where there are no trees. So I'm continue spacing out the trees. I've sprayed it several times. I'd like to keep things organic, but I'm trying to get things under control, particularly like the fungus. I bought the house years ago and wasn't there. And this is the first actual year I've been here. And I'm trying to get caught up on everything. I did get some apples, but not like enough, not commercially viable. Just enough for us to go out. Anytime we make oatmeal and stuff, we'll grab some apples.
Or make tea.
Make tea,
Put them in the
things
tea.
like that.
Yeah, good for flavor.
I would really like to expand on that and have a good harvest next year. And last winter I went through and I trimmed a lot of the trees, but there's well over 100 trees before I started cutting some of them down, and I was only able to get to about a third of that. So this winter I'll retrim. In the spring, I'll respray some fungicides and some other things. Hopefully, I only need the fungicides and not any kind of insecticides or anything like that. We'll see how that goes, and I'll do some consulting with some people to try and figure out the different, how to deal with it. Like I said, in New England, you plant the trees, a little bit of fertilizer, no irrigation, and you just let them go. I know somebody up in Maine that has an orchard, and it's like really hands off. Here, apparently, with the climate, especially in the summer where we don't get much rain, it's a lot of work. So my orchard needs to get under control, or I'm going to cut it all down and plant olives. I'm actually allergic to apples. I have to like cook them a little bit before I can even eat them, or my face gets all irritated.
So you have an entire orchard of something you're allergic to.
I have an entire orchard of something I'm allergic. I also have cherries, which we
cherries
really
were fantastic.
And grapes. So
we could plant some other things in there.
If I had to do over again,
a tree would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to have almost anything but apples, like lemons, or like all apples are like not even something I'm remotely interested in. But it's cool, and I would like to make it commercially viable. And I do love apple cider.
And I love having them. Whenever you give me some, I chop them up and either cook them into oatmeal or I cook them into my tea for flavor, and it's lovely.
It's great, and then when they're cooked, they're fine. I cook them and I'll add cinnamon and put them in the oatmeal and everything.
Yeah,
no problem. But Spider Webster says she has a master's in horticulture and agronomy. Perfect. So maybe I don't know if you still live here or not. I haven't. I'm not sure. I don't think we've ever met at any of the meetings or anything. I don't think I've ever met you. But if you are here in town, I know you. At one point, you told me you lived here. I thought, right? Is that correct?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
she can let us know in the comments. Maybe you can come out to my orchard and tell me what I'm doing wrong and help me figure it out. Otherwise, I'll talk to some locals here and see what I can do to have a more bountiful harvest next year and get everything up and running. I'm kind of indifferent to them, other than the fact that hopefully I can make a little bit of money off them, or invest in some equipment and make alcoholic cider, which I really do love apple cider. It doesn't exist here in Albania. There is no cider here. Beer, wine, rakia.
Yeah. So then you're not taking away from anyone else. Says anyone else's product.
Yeah. Alyaz is asking how many trees. There were over 100. I don't know how many there are now that I've cut quite a few down. Really trying to spread it out. Dan says apple rocky. No, just like a hard cider would be great. I would love to get into doing that, but I need to get the agriculture part under control before I expand into any kind of anything else, and then see if Albanians are interested in like hard cider. I don't know. If they're not, we'll drink it all.
I think we know enough Americans here that we'll get it taken care of.
We'll figure it out. I don't know if there's any.
We'll just give it out as gifts to all of our friends.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any kind of licensure that's required or anything for processing alcohol, but it is Albania, and everybody seems to make raki and wine, so I'm sure we can figure it out. So yeah, that's about it. Are there any other questions or comments? Oh, Spider Webster, I was looking in Pogradec, but then I had medical emergency. It might be wiser to be in Toronto, but I wanted to. Okay, so yeah, well, if you have any suggestions of what I can do, particularly when it comes to things like fungicides, I have gotten like some black powdery fungus on some of the trees. Which has caused the leaves to gnarl up a little bit. And the other thing that happened last year that was a problem is right during when everything was blooming, when all the apple trees were blooming, we had a big winter storm and a frost and a snow, and that knocked a lot of the blooms off, which I'm sure contributed to the lower count of apples. So
that was unfortunate.
Yeah, it was like everything was in bloom, and then we just had 2 days of like intense cold weather.
All of a sudden it was
and a massive snowstorm. Yeah. So these are the things that happen. Luckily, I don't have to rely on the apples to survive, but I would like them to be fruitful. Excuse the pun. Next year, and so that's the plan. Get that under control.
All right. Well, any last minute questions, or are we ready to wrap it up for the night?
I think we're getting. I think I'm ready to wrap it up.
Thank you all so much for being here. Extreme weather during blooming is a bummer.
Yeah, it was unexpected, and you have to. It's like
what are you gonna do?
It's sunny and beautiful, and the next day it's like 20 degrees and snowing sideways. And everything is just covered in like a wet snow, so it like froze hard, and then you go out the next day and all the blooms are gone. And I did get apples, but just not that many.
Yeah. Tona says to have a great night. Thanks so much for being here, Tona.
Thank you, everybody who joined us.
Dan, Michelle, Spider Webster. There's several more. Thank you all. Thank you, Jack, for showing up. Mary. I'm glad you all are here, and if I forgot your name, I do apologize. But hopefully we'll see you next weekend.
Yeah.
And so this week, tomorrow I have a video coming out of our Mali'i hike with Jesse narrating it.
On New Life Albania.
On my channel. I think we're going to do our Berlin trip on our combined channel. Then I think that's it.
Yeah, I have some footage from Berlin, but you took a lot more footage than me.
Okay, yeah, we'll put that on our combined channel. But either way, we'll advertise all these across all 3 channels. So whichever one you're watching, hopefully you'll see it when it comes in.
Yeah, and I'll post our video and our joint video on my Facebook as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
We really appreciate it. Dan and Michelle, hopefully we'll get out to visit you guys at some point this winter. Would be nice. It'd be nice to get out to the coast.
It would really
She's got
be
to
nice.
see. I guess up there it would be the Adriatics.
Yeah.
So Andrea needs to see the Albanian coast sooner than later, and
So does Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse too. Yeah, for sure. So thank you everybody for joining us, and we really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Don't know if we'll do both channels next week, or just mine, or just yours, or we're kind of split this by ear. But we are trying to every Sunday at 6 o'clock. We're going.
We will. We'll bring Jesse for sure.
Yeah. We'll try to do a live stream and just kind of go over everything that we're doing and everything we plan on doing and everything else. So yeah, thanks guys. We're both starving, I think.
We're starving.
And we're gonna finish our wine and
Mm-hmm.
maybe go get some pasta or
Yep.
something like
Gotta
that.
grab Jesse and
Grab-
I gotta
yeah.
feed you boys.
Yeah, we need food. So thanks everybody. Good night, and
night.
we'll
Or
see
good
you next
afternoon
time.
wherever you are. All right.
Oh, I got to press one.
Yes, you have to turn it off, otherwise
I'll
we're
let
gonna
you
be sitting here saying good night for hours. There you go. Yay.